Today, we're unpacking the story of Pop Smoke.
Yeah, quite a story.
We've got this stack of articles, research notes right here, basically diving into his explosive rise and, well, his powerful impact, even though it was tragically brief. So our mission really is to quickly pull out the most important insights, the key takeaways these sources offer about his journey and his legacy.
Exactly. And what we're seeing in the material, it starts deep in Brooklyn. Canarsie, specifically.
Right.
The sources really emphasize how his background, shaped by that environment, urban life, even a short time thinking about basketball, it all fed directly into his unique sound.
Which, brings us straight to the music. These articles talk about something really innovative happening there. It wasn't just that deep, gravelly voice you couldn't ignore.
No, definitely not just that. What's fascinating, reading through these reports, is how they describe him layering that voice over those dark, often aggressive Brooklyn drill beats. But then at the same time, he's weaving in these melodic hooks, sometimes like pulling from dancehall. That's a clear nod to his Jamaican heritage.
Ah, right.
And the insight here seems to be this fusion wasn't just random, it was pretty key to bridging street realities with these bigger aspirations. That's what made his music click way beyond just drill fans.
And it clicked fast. I mean, his rise was just meteoric.
Absolutely.
The sources detail these huge collaborations, Travis Scott, Nicki Minaj, names that just catapulted him into the mainstream almost overnight, it felt like.
But here's where the material shows a really stark contrast. While his music was taking off, these articles paint a clear picture that the success didn't come without, significant danger, serious peril. Several sources really stress how his rise almost seemed to escalate dangers that might have already been there. Like fame itself just magnified the threats from his environment and, unfortunately, from parts of the music industry too.
That Mavish, it's really difficult part to process. These articles offer a pretty chilling insight into a very modern vulnerability, the role social media played.
They really do. The reports recount the tragic events, February 19th, 2020. What multiple sources point out is how seemingly harmless social media posts, things may be meant to connect with fans, celebrate success.
Right. Things artists do all the time.
Exactly. They inadvertently revealed his location in Los Angeles. It's framed in the material as this stark example of how easily, your digital footprint can become unintended breadcrumbs for people with bad intentions. A huge risk for public figures now.
And after the tragedy, the investigation, the arrests, which the sources note included some really young offenders.
Yeah, that's a key point they raise.
That whole part of the story, as the articles discuss, it really sparked these broader, difficult conversations about cycles of violence, both in hip-hop and just in urban communities generally.
And while, the immediate focus was naturally on the investigation, the material shifts pretty quickly to his legacy, his enduring legacy.
Right.
It wasn't just that his life was cut short so young. It was the sheer scale of his impact after his death, especially with that huge posthumous album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon.
That album really cemented his influence. And the sources mention figures like 50 Cent being involved, guiding it. What these articles highlight is how his specific blend, that raw Brooklyn energy with the melodic flow, it's still like a blueprint for new artists coming up. You can hear it.
Absolutely. And the material also touches on the powerful role the fan communities played, using online spaces, gatherings, ways to mourn him, but also preserve his memory. It showed that deep connection he made.
So pulling these threads together from the deep dive, what we see is Pop Smoke's incredibly powerful, rapid rise, all fueled by this unique sound born directly from his background.
Yeah.
His story becomes this really profound, tragic intersection of massive fame, the exposure of social media, and the violence that ultimately took his life.
But which also, ironically, solidified his lasting influence on music.
It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it, of the intense pressures and, frankly, the vulnerabilities young artists face when they're suddenly thrust onto the world stage. Brings up much broader societal issues, too.
Definitely does.
So here's a final provocative thought from the material for you to consider. What does Pop Smoke's story really tell us about the hidden price of success in this digital age? And maybe, what responsibility does the industry, does society have to protect vulnerable talent navigating that landscape?